All right, let's take a look at what we have here. We have an exercise called Formulating Financial Statements from Raw Data. And this is a little bit longer question as far as length. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to move up and down the page a little bit. And so I'll have to move the paper around a little bit, zoom in, zoom out. Right now I have zoom on. And so that's one of the reasons why everything is not fitting in across the top. But the point of this exercise is we've got a lot of raw data up here. And I thought they actually provided us with, with more than what we need. But that's okay. We'll take it. Okay. So it says here, under the requirements for Part A, they want us to prepare an income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flows for General Mills Incorporated. And we see their information here. Okay, so the good news is we don't have a whole lot to do in the way of calculations, but we do have something that we need to do. We do have a lot more to do when it comes to classification. All right. So because we're making an income statement and a balance sheet, we should probably, as we go, just so to help enhance our learning a little bit, as we go through these items and we use them, we should probably write out to the side which of the financial statements these items are relevant for, because some of these are balance sheet items, some are income statement items, some of them are items that we're going to use on the statement of cash flows, which we're not really getting into the statement of cash flows, but we're going to look at it a little bit. Okay, so with that said, let's see here now. They want to know, they want us to prepare an income statement first, and they have provided us with the first item, which is sales. And so all we have to do then is take the figure that is provided right up here, 15,740.4, and these are probably in millions or billions. I guess they're in millions. And yeah, just plot that number in. And so I'm going to do that right now. I started to do it without you. 15,740 point, let's see now, what was it? 15,740.4. Okay, so I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to put that figure there. And then what I'm going to do to kind of help, and again I do apologize for all the moving around, is I'm going to write income statement just like that. And that's the only place we're going to have sales, so we can just write IS as an abbreviation. Okay, well, let's focus on the company here, General Mills. I'm kind of trying to point to it with my finger there. It's also listed right here. General Mills is a, well, for our purposes, we're going to call them a retailer. I think they're or a merchandiser. We're going to call them a merchandiser. And whether they're a merchandiser or a manufacturer really doesn't matter in this sense, or in this case, because we know that they have merchandise to sell. Okay, so the next item that we would want to include on the income statement for any type of merchandiser is this item right here, cost of goods sold. In other words, what was the cost of the goods that we sold to get this revenue up here? And in our case, it is 10,312.9. So before we write that down below, let's just plot IS by cost of goods sold. Okay. and we're going to come back down here. And as you can see, if we were doing this on the computer, we would have a drop-down box from which we would want to find the item cost of goods sold. And let's see here. It says use okay, that's with the statement of cash flows. So you can use because we're doing this by hand, we can either use negative numbers or not. Now I've forgotten what the number is. It's 10312.9. Okay, 10312.9. All right, very good. All right, so the next item, so let's see, I lost my train of thought. I had to grab my calculator for just a moment. So we've got sales and we've got cost of goods sold. So revenue item, expense item. So we're going to subtract the cost of goods sold from the revenue. So let's go ahead and do that. 15,740.4 minus cost of goods sold of 10,312.9 equals 5427. Let's see here, 5427.5. And what is that though? This is one of the items that we did have to calculate, and this is what we call, and we've seen this before, this is called gross profit. Okay, so we have gross profit of 5427.5. The next item on the income statement is other expenses or operating expenses. And this is an item that is probably going to be provided for us up top. So I'm going to look for that. And here it is. Okay, 3264.5. And I'm going to label this as income statement. So whenever I come back and look at this later, if I don't know where that goes, well, I gave myself a little hint. So that's 3264.5. Let's see, 3264.5. And because I have my gross profit figure here already, I'm going to just subtract from that gross profit figure my operating expenses, 3264.5 equals 2163. 163. So that is 2163. Now, we probably need to know what this is without the help of the little legend that we have up here, but if we don't, they've given us net income here, and in fact it is 2163. So this is a pretty good indicator that we've done everything correctly. So let's go ahead and write net income in there. Okay, and if you notice, we have written down a financial statement by 4 items. Gross profit is not on the list, so you'll have to remember that gross profit is an income statement item, or you'll have to just write it down somewhere, one of the two. Okay, so let's see here what we have for the balance sheet. And the first item is cash and cash equivalents. So let's come up here and see if we can't find that. It ends up being the very first item here. So cash and cash equivalents is $399, and I'm going to write BS there. And then I'm going to come down here under cash and cash equivalents, and I'm going to write $399. And we have total assets here, and let's see if they provide that for us. I bet they do, because I saw total liabilities. Let's just see here. Maybe not. But that's okay, because we can calculate that on our own. Okay, so let's see if we have any other. Yes, we have non-cash assets. Let's see, where did that go? Non-cash assets right here. This is going to be a balance sheet item, and that figure is 30,225. So let's go ahead and write down non-cash assets, and that is 30,225. And then we can calculate total assets. We can take the 30,225 non-cash assets and add to it the 399 in cash and cash equivalents. And we're going to come up with 30,624. Okay, 30,624 total assets. All right, now I'm going to move around a little bit. Let's see here what we have. We know that the accounting equation for the balance sheet is assets, which we have, plus liabilities, plus owner's equity. So assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So let's go back over to our list and see what we have. We're going to need this item when we get to the statement of cash flows, but not now. We do have stockholders' equity. We'll come back to that. We also have total liabilities. And let's see if there's anything else that we want to look at here. No, I think we're okay. So total liabilities are going to be 24,131.6. And we're going to place that on the balance sheet. Okay? All right. So let's see here. Let's see, what do they call it? Total liabilities, 24,131.6. Okay, so let's see, what was that figure? 24,131.6 total liabilities. All right, so let's go ahead and write that here. Usually we wouldn't just get the total number of any of these items. We would have to classify a little bit more, then get the total. And then so I can see that they have total liabilities and equity here. So they want to know total shareholder equity. Kind of write a little bit small there. And I bet that's one of the items up top. And they called it, this is a good learning opportunity, they called it stockholders' equity, and that is the most common phrase. I called it shareholders' equity. It's also oftentimes just called owner's equity. These are all three the exact same thing. So stockholders, shareholders, and owner's equity are all the exact same thing. So stockholders' equity is going to go on the balance sheet, so we should label that 6492.4. Let's see here, 6492.4. And so watch this. This was our total assets here. So let's just check to see if we're on the right path. I'm going to subtract out my liabilities, 24,131.6, and look at that. And then I can subtract out minus 6492.4, and I get to 0. Or conversely, I could have added these 24,131.6 plus 64,92.4, and it's the same figure as we had for total assets over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that down. Perfect. All right, I'm going to clear this calculator out, and then let's move over here to the statement of cash flows. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to close this video out, and we're going to come back and we're going to do the statement of cash flows, and then we have a B requirement here on the question, and we will do that in another video. Okay, so that'll be it for this video.